versus hidden agenda transmission. That's what we're gonna call these videos. This one's gonna be about how the Matrix siphons energy from people, light workers in specifics, but also how the agents of the devil, the narcissists, sociopaths, things of the sort, play into this cycle, how they benefit, how they gain power from your disempowerment. And a lot of what I'm going to share today is like information that I know from personal experience, lived experience, as well as research over many of years, and then also just some downloads that came to me today. So I'm obviously not a clinician. I'm not a professional of any sort, aside from a professional Leo. So I fully welcome discussion, feedback, input, whatever you may have. This is just going to be a jumping off point that was kind of inspired by my last two videos that were, if you have not seen them, I'll link them down below, but just to give you a quick summary. I pulled out a card from the Isis Oracle, and that card was Power Over 7 Scorpions. And this card speaks to the power of one's thoughts and power of one's words. And this has been coming up as a synchronicity for me as well as the collective quite consistently over the last couple months, because we are coming to a place where we are now taking full ownership over our sovereign energy. And taking it back from the matrix system, whether that be from structures and institutions and ways of living that we don't resonate with, or from people and places and habits and things like that. We're stepping more into ourselves. And as we do that, we are being encouraged to wield this reestablished power appropriately. And the thing is, a lot of us have been conditioned from a very, very young age to disempower ourselves. That could be, you know, things that we're taught in childhood, when we are told to be quiet about things that upset us. We are not allowed to express our authentic truth, and my throat chakra is going already. If you can't tell, there's definitely been a lot of damage done to the entirety of the chakra system for the collective, and I'm going to touch on that as well. But basically, I'm getting tingled and I'm hearing ringing, and they're very excited about this. I'm happy y'all happy. I'm happy everyone's happy, okay? So starting from a young age, people who have light within them are pretty easy to identify. Let's start there, okay? If you are a free spirit, if you are creative, you're unique, you're out there, you're gonna be easy to identify because you are like the zebra card in the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. You are just so you, it would kill you to not be you. And this is such a beautiful light the world needs, and lots of people respect and admire and really, really revere. However, it unfortunately draws people who are of the lower octaves, who have personality disorders, who are operating from a place of woundedness within them, to you like a moth to a flame. And if you are like a good portion of the collective, you are not socialized in a way that will protect you from these people and their advances and their manipulation and their sneaky underhanded ways at getting access to your energy. So not only are you seen as like this beautiful beacon of light that is very childlike and kind of naive at times, but you're also seen as like yummy prey for the vampires, right? Like if you think back to like any number of movies that are quite popular today, like Maze Runner, that secondary Shining movie, there's like so many of them. There's also one with Jennifer Lawrence, or maybe she was in Maze Runner, I'm not certain. But basically the concept is you take a child, you take an innocent, and you suck the life out of it, right? This absolutely could relate to adrenochrome and the whole harvesting of energy and vitality through the abuse of children. Absolutely. Right now we're talking about it on an energetic standpoint, however, so we're going to say that children from a young age are traumatized, are abused, are subjugated, are told to push down their authority, one could say, in favor of remaining safe. So they're having their energy harvested by simply needing to shrink, because other people, the others, the non-heart-led beings, operate from a place of such insecurity and lack that you, a divine one, divine feminine or masculine, simply existing shows them what they lack, and that creates an even deeper wound for them. This is a very, very severe core wounding that affects their ego, affects their sense of self, everything. So for them, you existing as you are is a threat, because that is something that they cannot be. Point blank period. They have incurred so much damage to their psyche, to their soul, to every aspect of their being, that they will not be able to get to where you are naturally, okay? So all they can hope to do is disempower you. And this is done through, again, the subjugation, the abuse, the deception, any harm that you can think of. If you've had an experience of being a black sheep in a family, this is what is done. And I just felt like so much relief on my heart. So maybe this is something a lot of you are going to relate to. But what you experience both with your family and then in friendships and business relationships is you see that people value you. They are like so drawn to you, and they always want more of you, but at the same time they treat you very, very badly. It creates an interesting sense of cognitive dissonance in a person where you feel worthy but like not worthy enough of respect, which kind of starts the cycle of abuse. But to cycle back around, these people, whether they be family members, friends, people that you're involved with romantically, they see who you are without even trying. And because they cannot be that, their only hope is to make you less of who you are. And then when, through repeated attempts at impacting your self-confidence, your intuition, your self-worth, all these things, they do eventually knock you down a bit. That person who was coming to the situation to control you now feels that they've done their job. They've fulfilled their duty, okay? They got their energy from removing yours. So this is how the energy harvesting begins. It is from you dimming your light because they have projected their reality onto you, or they have caused so much trauma within you that you are simply not able to exist as you are naturally supposed to. And this kind of relates into the whole concept of your birthright, your inheritance. You'll see a lot of people talking about your inheritance was stolen from you in the spiritual community. And it was something I thought on quite a bit, and I'm sure for some of you, you actually have had like good portions of money or property or things like this stolen from you. However, what I think the fundamental, I'm hearing ringing, the fundamental aspect of this is you coming into the world as a light worker, a divine being, a seer, somebody of the light. You are inherently deserving of all of those blessings that are supposed to be and are intended to rain upon you. However, when these people disempower you, they are trying to steal your inheritance. They are trying to take those things that were supposed to be yours for themselves. I'm hearing so much ringing. Via harvesting your energy, trying to mimic you quite possibly, and being seen the way that they saw you, or simply just being puffed up to such a grandiose and false sense of self by their disempowerment of you that they can put themselves in rooms that they don't deserve to be in. They can feel vilified in your downfall and things of the sort. So I have some notes here. That was just all off the cuff. Let me see. Okay, so when people are speaking negatively to you, whether this be friends, family members, whomever, we've all got stories, and probably with multiple people, okay? Because this is a good portion of the population, and that is the saddest thing. I think that once you become aware of the divide between heart-led beings and those who are acting in their ego, shadow, animalistic, lower levels, it is scary to see the chasm and like just how many of them there are. But when people are speaking negatively over your life, they're trying to subconsciously or consciously, depending on the level of depravity of these people's souls, cause auric and energetic holes so that you will be leaking out your essence, okay? Right? Your confidence is wounded, your solar is impacted, you don't feel safe expressing, you don't feel confident exerting yourself or trying new things because you are feeling compromised. So when they're speaking these things over your life, you are subconsciously taking them in. And that is why it's so important to like cut people who are negative Nancy's out of your life, because whether or not you are consciously connecting to what they are saying, they are subconsciously programming you, okay? And you need to be very, very considerate about what programs you allow. Spirit has been saying, guard your mind palace with your life, okay? Because, as mentioned in those other videos, thoughts become things, things become actions, actions become behaviors, and behaviors become your reality. So that starting point needs to be protected, like impenetrable, okay? So when you have these auric fields occur through repeated wounding, through subconscious programming, through extreme trauma, your essence is leaking out, okay? So you no longer have access to your divine right, your birthright, your inheritance, that yummy energy that is yours, that is supposed to be Empress energy, Emperor energy. It's just like an overflowing spring, but they are putting holes in you. So you are leaking out this essence that is supposed to be life-giving, and that therefore affirms how powerful they are. Because if a wounded individual is able to wound you, then they think, haha, I'm not the victim, I'm the victor. They think that they had to be above you in order to cause that damage. Really, it's just a twisted power play that you never asked to be in, and I'm going to go into that later, but this is their thought process, okay? So you come into a circumstance, a dynamic, a relationship, good intentions, neutral intentions, hell, maybe even sometimes your own little low vibrational intentions. We're all human on this earth, okay? Well, we're not all human on this earth, but we're not going to touch on that. We all have the opportunity to fall into our lower level behaviors. However, if you are somebody who is relating to this video, who is a light worker, who is a seer, who has operated in the light and is considered awakened, then even if you do dibble dabble in some lower vibrational things at times, you are still not coming into 99.99% of your experiences with ill intent and malicious planning. So you are trying to connect with somebody and they immediately see you as a mark. You are immediately seen as an opportunity for them to get a leg up. You are a stepping stool. Because either they will use their association to you and whatever benefits may come with your presence, whether that be energetic, sexual, financial, clout, whatever it is, they will get that off of being associated to you, okay? So that is one way they energy harvest, by association, by proximity to you. The second way they do it is that if you say run your course in that regard, okay, or if you're giving them a bit less than they need to function and to get whatever they want going on, then what they do is they cut you down even lower. So they're staying where they are, right? And you're supposed to be, they think you're on equal playing ground. In all actuality, you are up here, and that is not to give anybody a false sense of grandiosity, because again, that's how these people would think. This is just understanding that energetically, you are up here. They're here. So in their mind, they're cutting you down from this equal playing field and you're going down here. So they're staying where they are, but they look superior to you, and they think that they look superior to you from your point of view. And a lot of the times they do. How many times have you been in a relationship or had an experience with a friend where you started things off and things seemed good and you're like, yeah, this is like my comrade, this is a friend, this is somebody who I can like relate to, but they just chisel away a little bit at a time, right? And they eventually do get you down to a point where you're kind of pedestalizing them or idolizing them, even though they're not really that good of a person. And it's because they have created that superficial lowering of your vibration and your standing in association to them to, again, make themselves feel more powerful, to have that sense of superiority. So when they do this, again, they're affirmed by how powerful they feel for knocking you down, for impacting you. And then once you're down here, once your energy is lowered, so say if you were initially up here, then you are closer to their level now. Once your energy has been lowered, they are able to essentially hijack your CPU. They're able to insert some viruses and some rogue programming that begins to affect your chakra system, begins to affect your self-worth, self-belief, your scripts that you tell yourself. Like, if you accept their first blows, then it starts to run amok on your whole system. And what came in was that it either seems to be like a top-down approach that they take or a bottom-up. So that would be starting with your crown. They're trying to make you doubt yourself. They're trying to make you think that you are insane. They try to make you think that your intuition is off kilter. They maybe say that you're unintelligent, if you're different or unique, or if you're just creative. Pardon me, if you are creative, they say you're just creative and you can't also be intellectual. You can't have unique thoughts. You can't conceptualize things beyond their very, very unique and specific and unheard of intellect. Like, they see themselves as the greatest prize here. So whatever the case may be, this is an attack on your intellect, on your crown. So that relates to your guides, of course, as well as your self-worth and how you see yourself. Once that is impacted, you will most likely notice a change in how you speak, when you speak, if you speak, the things that you'll say, the people you feel comfortable speaking to, because they have impacted that confidence and that trust in yourself. Therefore, you're not going to be speaking out. That's cut off the throat chakra, cut off the crown, and then that inevitably affects your solar. You say, okay, well, I don't feel confident because they've convinced me, they've put the script in my head. I'm not expressing my intellect or my ideas or my creativity, so now I'm not feeling confident in them, and then there you go. Solar's offline. Solar's offline, then your creative center gets shut down. Your sacral is also following that, because if you don't even feel confident enough to conceptualize ideas, you are not bringing them into reality. Your creative center is done, okay? If your creative center is offline and you are somebody who does or has made your living through through creative means, then absolutely your finances are done, because that's your stability, your base chakra. All of them from top down have been disrupted by these people and their ability to impact and insert their narrative in your crown chakra. And even if you're not somebody who acts as a creative for your profession, this is still going to impact the way you live your day-to-day life. This is still going to hinder the way that you can envision your life going in the grand scheme of things. And this is what the Matrix wants, right? They want to disrupt your chakra system. They want you to be unbalanced. They want your confidence in every single aspect of your energy centers to be off kilter, so that you cannot ascend, and so that you cannot challenge them, and so that you cannot, pardon me, overpower the powers that be, because those in alignment are the biggest threat. Whether you identify as a light worker or not, an enlightened being is worth their weight in gold, okay? But that's not what the Matrix system wants. That's not what an oppressor wants, whether it be the micro of, that boss, that ex, that friend, that sibling, or that parent that wants to keep you underneath them, or governments and institutions and cults and covens and whatever it may be. They do not want you to be confident. They do not want you to be self-assured. They can't allow you to see your worth, because the moment you see the worth that inherently exists within you, your inheritance, you snatch your power back. You know that gif of that little girl grabbing her ticket? The one who used to do ASMR, and she's like on a plane and she's like, give me that. That's what you do to the Matrix systems, as well as anybody who seeks to gain power through disempowering others. And that's a problem. So this happens again from a very young age, where you are just consistently disempowered and taught that any deviation from the way things are is negative, is possibly demonic, is wrong, is morally corrupt. So you have people who are doing the footwork of this system, who are feeding into it, who are contributing to the exploitation and the subjugation of people just like them. And that's really sad, especially if these people aren't ones who have like mental health concerns and personality disorders. And these are just like, you know, your shitty coworkers who really want to voice their unnecessary, uncalled for, and unasked about opinions on the way you personally decide to live your life. Like, they're just as miserable as everybody else, but here they're doing the oppressor's work for free. It makes no sense to me. It's very strange. So again, whoever these people are to you, they gain the affirmation of their power, their influence, and their narrative when they're able to impact you. When they notice your confidence slipping, they get energy off of that. That's like crack to them. Okay, they're like, oh, got him. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of the end. So this inevitably begins to alter your thoughts, and then your thoughts alter your reality, as I was saying. And then this is what you could essentially consider a destiny swap. So if these people aren't actually doing magic and like mixing things up in jars, this is the modern man's destiny swap, okay? By taking your essence, they are taking your inheritance, your worth, your path, your energetic signature. These are people who might mock you about your personal beliefs, especially if you are somebody who operates in the light worker community, okay? These are people who could look down upon or speak ill on divination practices, but behind the scenes, they're doing some really questionable things and black magic and left-hand path things and putting roots on people and putting people in jars. They try and throw you off their scent with this whole, I'm gonna wear 15 different faces. I'm gonna wear your face, but I'm also gonna wear the face of a clergyman, but I'm also gonna wear the face of some square who knows nothing about affirmations and manifestation. And it is so illusionary. And because it's so illusionary, it keeps you off base. And I'm hearing some ringing. So this is just another way that they confuse you and they add into this whole puzzle of disgusting behavior and energy harvesting, okay? So this is their attempt at a destiny swap. They take your inheritance by wearing your face, by wearing the face of this person, by disempowering you so that they can gain that power. A lot of them will use the things that you've taught them. If you are somebody who identifies with having had a twin flame or had a counterpart who you tried to help along the spiritual journey, chances are they learned a bunch from you and then they went on, and I'm feeling some ringing. They went on and they went to go put their fingers in places they shouldn't be, okay? Including possibly doing spell work, but very, very minimal mention of that for this topic, okay? Spell work is gonna be left for a different video. So they're so empowered by your disempowerment that they get constant supply. So if these people are able to impact your thought process, your confidence, your ability to act, to exert, to anchor in what you were destined to, what your inheritance is, they get constant affirmation and supply, both internally and if they are like grandiose or just really braggadocious, externally as well. So these are people who will like scroll through your Instagram and they're like, oh yeah, like this person hasn't posted in a couple days. I bet they're really struggling. I bet they're down and out. I bet they're sick with whatever is going around. They spin a narrative that always puts you beneath them. Even if you are minding your own business. You could be on a beach in Tahiti but not posting, and this person will think that the plague has fell upon your specific house, okay? They need to tell themselves this story of your subjugation, even if you are not physically present in their life anymore, because then that makes them feel better. They are getting high off of your low, whether it is real or perceived. And if they can encourage your lows, if they can slander, smear, abuse, exploit, to aid in this illusion and make it a little bit more real, I guarantee you they will, collective. And I'm hearing ringing. So these are people who know no bounds, as we've discussed. So yeah, they get that constant supply if they are just thinking to themselves, they're keeping up tabs with you, maybe asking people about you, and they're like, interesting, good to know. They're getting puffed up on the fact that they knew you weren't blank, talented, skilled, healthy, capable, worthy, whatever it is. They feel better because they think that you have been put where they would put you if they had the chance. Regardless of the reality, this is how they're choosing to see it, because they cannot see themselves as anything other than the victor. Because if they are not the victor, then in their eyes, they're the victim. So if you cut these people off, you go no contact, you gray rock them, this is what's going on behind the scenes, okay? They all run the identical script, okay? Please confirm down below in the comments. Does this sound familiar? Because, like, these people are very unoriginal. They're very uncreative. They all act the same. Once you've seen one, you've seen a million of them. And that's why it's so important that we as a collective begin trusting our intuition and the sight that we have, because a lot of us, even if we haven't developed our psychic sense, our sixth sense, to the highest degree, we've had enough experiences and we have pattern recognition that we see these people, we just often give them the benefit of the doubt, and therefore we end up being their sacrificial lambs. So it's death to that, let them starve, put it on a shirt, let them starve. So if these are people who decide to get external validation on your downfall, then as I was saying, like smear campaigns, very likely coordinating people, triangulating individuals, it all helps give them this supply. And these people on the other side of it most likely don't even know what's going on. They think that maybe this person's checking up on somebody that they claim to care about, or they're asking something inconspicuous, so they give them some information. I'm hearing some ringing. So these people operate under plausible deniability in a lot of these cases. So collective, if you are dealing with people like this and they are associated with other people that you know, whether that be friends, family, coworkers, lovers, whoever, keep in mind these people operate with illusions, okay? They are individuals who have no sense of self. So they need to display whatever will get them the outcome they want. So this is going to be individuals who put on the face of whomever they are in front of, you could say. So if there are people who are still in their lives, try not to take it personally, because a lot of the times they're just wrapped up in the illusion, okay? They are pawns in these people's games. It is not really their fault. They should also use their intuition, and they should also think critically, as well as if these people have a history of doing this, which a lot of them do. This isn't usually like a one-time thing. These people historically harm people in their lives. If there are individuals who are aware of this long string of infractions, they should probably take some heed and actually understand the truth of the circumstance, not just the veil of the illusion that this person or these people want to present, okay? Like, critical thinking could use a couple upgrades, but I digress. They will go to these people and they will, again, parrot that, oh, I always knew this person wouldn't do well, or they asked me for money all the time, or yeah, I was constantly giving them rides and they just could never get their stuff together, or did you hear how they treated their kids? They're so blank. They are their ego, okay? It's all about what they can get from another person's affirmation of your lowliness in comparison to them. So one way or the other, whether it is internally validated or externally validated, these people are thriving off of your demise, which is the concept of a destiny swap, okay? And even if you aren't actually experiencing a demise, it is their fabricated reality of a demise. Yeah, the superiority they get from doing better than you, even if they're not actually doing better than you. And being the one who wins is what feeds them. And therefore, you regaining your body, mind, and spirit, but like your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions, your habits, your life, like the person that you were before these people, or if you didn't get the chance to develop a self before them, like if this was a family you grew up in or a friend group you've always been part of, then it's about separating and developing that sense of self. Because the more you stabilize, the less authority they're going to have. They're going to be able to do less damage to you. First off, you'll care way less, if at all. I would say most people very quickly learn to consider these people as worthy as like a small beetle on the street. You could say, like, their opinion is less than nothing. So you empowering yourself inherently, again, takes away the power from them that they tried to take unjustly. This will inevitably lead to them acting out, trying to gain control, start more smear campaigns, do the whole song and dance over and over again, because it's a desperate attempt at trying to keep things under wraps and see themselves as the victor and not the victim or the villain. These people, I've also noticed that. I've had experience with a few myself, if you can't tell. They're always obsessed with like, I'm not a villain, I'm not a bad person, I'm not the villain in your story. But it's like, but you are though. You are. Thou doth protest too much. If the shoe fits, then wear it and buy it in every color, because it's a form of throwing you off their scent, is what it is. You know, somebody always tells you, no, I've always been so committed to my partners. I've never cheated. I'm always just so loyal to a fault. Every single other person has cheated on me, but I've never been that person. And it's like, okay, I just asked like how your past relationships have been. It's like, why are you saying all that, you know? A lot of these people project. So whatever they accused you of, chances are what they were doing. But when you are able to re-stabilize yourself energetically, declare energetic sovereignty, you're taking that energy back from them. They're going to starve, absolutely. They're going to self-destruct because they're going to see you prove their projections wrong. They're going to see you succeed. And especially if you are away from this person and they can't use their association to you for clout, capital, affection, whatever, like they're not benefiting from their association to you. Maybe you cut them off entirely and have like publicly exiled them, and there's no way that they can claim anything that goes on in your life. I've done that. Love it. It's very freeing. Then they are a ticking time bomb, because not only is it that every single thing they said about you is wrong, and not only are they being proven to be the person they said you were, but they, and others most likely, are witnessing your success, your growth. They're witnessing you flourish outside of an unhealthy dynamic, whether that be, again, friends, family, lovers, workplace. If these people constantly disempower you and knock you down to their level in order to get other people to see you how they see you, but you remove yourself from the circumstance and suddenly you're living your best life, that is the ultimate offense for somebody who saw you as less than them. Because how, if they're the prize, have you left them and skyrocketed? The math ain't mathin' to them as well as everybody else. So this is just another blow to their ego. So these people will self-destruct. And if you've ever dealt with a narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath, this is how a small percentage of them end up getting better. Because when their mask comes crumbling down and there is nobody left to buy into the illusion, the gag, the story, the delusion, then they are so severely wounded that they will either heal because they cannot cope with the concept of reality without piecing together some new stories, or they will themselves, or move to another country, change their name, and then run game on a whole other set of people. So there's a couple options here, but again, they are all so similar. So you've got like, it's like pick your outcome here. There's like 5, randomize them if you feel like it. But if you've been in an experience with people like this and you see them go through this unmasking and ego destruction, you will see they will either get better and they will actually finally see the light and develop a healthy sense of ego and recover, or they will self-destruct and they will harm themselves, they will harm somebody else, they will run away, they will go completely hermit mode and no longer socialize with anybody because they have nobody to socialize with, or live their entire lives online. Like, it is just, it's a very sad sight, but it is honestly one of the only opportunities for people like this to change their deeply disordered way of existence, because a lot of these people have been like this since they were children. These are considered personality disorders. So there's no therapy. I won't say there is no therapy. Therapy that can rehabilitate a narcissist or a sociopath, psychopath, cluster B personalities in general, it's very, very unlikely, because these people are so grandiose and they wear the mask of a proper person so well that they can fool psychologists, they can fool therapists and psychiatrists. So they're running game on everybody until they can't run game on you and they get game run on them. And then their world flips, it shatters, it is messy, it is destructive. These people will threaten self-harm, they'll threaten to harm others, they will go off the rails because their false position of power has been yoinked back by the person who deserved it in the first place. So yeah, again, if you succeed without them and they can't associate with you, then it's even worse, because they're getting nothing from you. They can't be seen in a positive light, and personal slight for your success, absolutely. You'll see that a lot of them will try and like come back around and like reintegrate into your social circle or your life or your family when they start seeing you do good, and if you've left the door even the slightest bit open. So keep in mind, if you've had a big blow up with somebody who is like this, and then you start doing well and they try and come back with the tail between their legs, they're just trying to get back into your camp so that they can burn it down when the time comes, okay? So proceed with caution. So overall, collective, the thing I want you to take away from this is the fact that without your knowledge, without your participation, without your intention, these people, simply by their proximity to you, had entered you into a competition. A very insidious, one-sided competition that no one really should ever be able to win because of the depravity of these people. You shouldn't be able to win. You shouldn't be able to survive. These people want your destruction. So when you, an unwitting player in their game, ends up taking their little chess piece, knocking it over, flicking it across the room, and setting a match with kerosene on it into that room, their world goes up in flames. Okay? That is how powerful you are. You did all of that unintentionally for the most part. So, well done. I'm hearing ringing. If this is your story, if this is something you can relate to, the guides, the guards, the galactics, they're very proud of you. Okay? Yeah, they lost, even though they set the game up for you to fail from the very beginning, and you had no idea what was going on. So that is the download. If you have any thoughts to share, if you want to talk about your experience with people like these, please go right ahead. I will dive further into the concept of how this relates to the matrix system in another video, because I think we're getting long. And yeah, I don't want to overload you with too much information, but thank you for being here. If you want to book me for personal, check out the description. Love you lots. Stay sovereign, stay sexy, and starve the energy vamps. Okay, we're sweet, but we're not stupid.